Hello again, this is Juleann back at you with some more sequences within the JIP large sequence. And right now we're going to focus on release. So with release during maternity, you want to make sure that you have your blocks and you have a strap. Super helpful with all this. I mean, the blocks and the straps are super helpful throughout the entire JIP, but especially with this section here. So let's go ahead and make our way to the floor. So with release, we have single leg extension, seated forward fold, reverse tabletop, and fish. So let's go over the seated forward folds first. I'm going to go and give you a side view with it. And here is where it's also pretty entertaining, where I'm so far along in my pregnancy right now. I have to start to shift my muscles around and my belly around in order to fully integrate and feel the pose. You just gotta giggle sometimes. So I'm just gonna start out with the left leg so you can fully see what I'm talking about here. Normally, I would be having my right foot pretty far up onto my thigh, but when I start to fold forward, my belly gets in the way, and same with my leg. So I kind of want to just open up my leg here so I have a lovely little spot for my belly to fold forward into. So there's different levels. Maybe this is the exact level that you need to be at. You want to make sure you still have a soft knee, so if you have a block, that would be a great tool right now to tuck underneath your foot or underneath your knee. If that is too high for you, you could use a rolled up towel to go underneath, or you could just be mindful and make sure that you keep your knee soft. Keep my ankle flexed, my toes straight up, and I make sure that I'm on my sits bones, so I may need to remove some squish. And again, a nice tall spine. This may be your pose right here. If you have a strap, you could always use a strap and wrap it around the big ball mound of your foot and the little ball mound, so it's right across there. You're not doing it on your toes, you're not doing it on your arch, you're doing it right there. This is great because you can still get a lovely stretch right here without needing to fold forward. Or maybe you need the next step where you do want to fold forward. So in that case, that's why I extended my right leg up a bit more to create that space for my belly. So that way, and this is where I need to shift over slightly so my belly has the room, and then I can just kind of fold forward here. And I can feel him kick right now because he's like, "Mom, you're squishing me," but he's okay in there. He usually wakes up for these poses anyway, which is another really fun thing. When you start to practice all the time, you'll actually notice what sequences and what poses wake them up. This is my third one. I know with my first, she was all about igniting all the back bends. You would see my belly just pop around. Then my youngest, as of now, she would always wake up during Savasana. So that was always fun when I'm trying to deep rest and there goes my belly all over the place. All right, so anyway, so you can keep your hands right here. You could put them behind you to help just give you more length. It's really just getting comfortable to make sure that you are supported and your belly has the room to kind of shift around. So that's what you want to do with the single leg extension. Seated forward fold. Now, when you're in first trimester and your belly is not quite so pronounced, doing just a seated forward fold works. And again, with most of the entire sequence, first trimester, you can do the whole sequence with no worry. Second trimester is where you may have to start shifting things around. Especially then with third trimester, that's when things really get to be a little wonky and you just gotta giggle sometimes. All right, so since I'm in third trimester near the end, right here would have been great for probably like first, second trimester. Now I'm to the point where my heels are off of my mat, which is completely fine. It's really just what's going to work for you. You could stay right here. You can use your strap and again wrap it around your big ball mound, and you could stay right here. And this can feel really good. If your strap is long enough, I'm going to have to bring my legs in slightly. A really good option is to do like a double wrap. That way both corners of your feet have the same equal amount of pressure, and you can feel it light up all the way into your hamstrings. And you could stay right here. If you need more stimulation, again, for me, I need a really wide base right now. And I like to use what I like to say Lego hands and tuck it into the crease of my hips. I externally rotate out. And if you notice, my toes start to rotate out too. I want to make sure my toes still point straight to the ceiling. The reason why I do this is because it just gives me a little bit more space for my belly to drop right in between my legs. And that way I can just fold forward and I can keep my arms long in front of me. I could reach for the pinky side toe of my feet, or I could push my hands behind me so I can keep a long, flat spine. Next up is reverse tabletop or reverse plank. Reverse plank, for me, doable first trimester. Second trimester is where it gets a little hinky. Third trimester, my body is like, you're not doing it. If you're going to do reverse plank, make sure that when you do it, your feet are still planted on the ground, that your toes aren't up. You want the four corners of your feet still planted onto your mat. If you don't have access to that, where your feet are still, your toes are still lifted up, I would go back to reverse tabletop. So reverse tabletop, make sure that your fingers are pointed forward. And here, this is where it feels good. Plant down into your heels and into your hands, press up. And this feels really good. If it feels good on your neck, let your head drop back. And this is good where you can do some really clearing out breaths. And then you can lower down. Next up is fish. And again, here with fish, I still was able to have full access to fish without any extra support during first and second trimester. Partway between third trimester is when I realized my body was just too much. It was too heavy. It was a little too crunched in my back, where I needed the extra support. And that's where having the blocks at your access is really handy. So you're going to want to put it right like where your sports bra ends, so it goes right between your shoulder blades. And you can point your toes. It's like one of the only times you get to point your toes in the JIP sequence. I like to really do that because it gives me a full shin stretch all the way up, and it gives me a really long line of just that opening. And here again, you can open up your mouth, do some clearing breaths. If this is too much for you, you can just skip the pose. But I always feel that doing fish is really helpful, especially just to open up your chest some more and to also clear out some junk that you may still be holding on to. All right, and right there you have the release section. So again, be mindful, take cues of what you need for your body right here and right now. Remember, every day is going to look different. You're doing an amazing job. You are growing a human being from start to finish, which is a pretty incredible thing. So be easy with yourself if your practice looks completely different. One day you could be, I am rocking it. Everything is awesome. I'm doing more than what I thought. Next, you may just be seated on the floor, breathing and moving your arms. No matter what, the point is that you got onto your mat, you moved with your body and with your baby, and that's freaking awesome. So I'll see you for the last part of this sequence, and you have a great rest of your day. Okay, see you later.